What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Film Fanclub show. We were off last week because we had fall break, but we are now back. We got plenty of reviews up. We saw lots of movies, recharged. I'm Sam Carrico, joined by Ricky Cicedo. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I've been pretty well. Have you seen some cool movies lately?
Yeah, I watched Crimson Peak.
Crimson Peak? I love the little hesitation. I saw some movies too. Subscribe for that. I'm not going to tell you what. All right, so first up, we're just going to do the movie news topics, and then we'll get to something old, something new here in a second. First up on the movie news, it's a little indie movie coming out in December from, what's the name of it? I think it's called Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Star Wars, yeah.
It released not only the official poster, but the official full trailer for The Force Awakens this past week. What did you think about the trailer and the poster together? We already did a reaction video a little bit, but we'll just kind of talk about it at length a little bit. So,
well, after crying the first time I watched the trailer, I gathered some thoughts. Luke was absent.
That's true.
He
was from the
entire trailer. He was on. His voice was on the first one, and I'm pretty sure that was him and
his hand with R2. Yeah.
Unless it wasn't, maybe it was Kylo Ren. No, I'm just kidding.
There's some theories though that maybe it's not.
Kylo Ren is a robot?
It'd be interesting.
No. Yeah, Luke's probably going to be, as you said, probably not until the third act of the movie.
Yeah.
Along with the Death Star, which also was not on the trailer.
It wasn't in the trailer. It wasn't very prominent in the poster, but it was. You could see it pretty clearly in the upper right corner of the poster. That is the official Starkiller base, which is ice planet hollowed out to be a new super weapon for the First Order, which is the Empire. And I must assume that's just what Kylo Ren must be talking about whenever he says, "I will finish what you started." Right. Probably talking about creating a super weapon to bring peace to the galaxy and complete firm rule to the Empire. But yeah, let's just. How do you feel about? What were some things? How did you feel about the poster?
Poster was a bit cluttered.
Yeah,
it was a little bit of a mess. But I mean, for the most part, I like how they're keeping to the same style as the other posters. It's cool seeing the new characters in that similar vein.
Yeah. It definitely feels like a Star Wars poster, that's for sure. Even though it may be, like I said, or like you said, a little bit cluttered. I agree. Right. It's really busy, especially in the middle part, right above the title. I think if you would have just taken Han, Leia, and Chewie and just kind of made them bigger and took away a lot of the explosion stuff and a lot of the side characters, I think it would have made for a lot better poster. That's just me. It's still a really cool poster. I like even though I'm a little bit skeptical of how Starkiller Base is going to be handled in the film. I don't want them to recreate the 1977 original, of course, but it'll be cool. I like the look that we got of it in the poster. And I also liked, I don't know if you noticed, and this must be not a coincidence because Rey, her staff is parallel with Kylo Ren. And I think that I saw this on Collider Movie Talk or something like that. They were talking about how that's probably a metaphor for their different, the rumor is that they're siblings and that they're probably, it's probably a metaphor for how one of them has taken on the light side and one of them, obviously Kylo Ren, has taken on the dark side. So that's pretty interesting.
I didn't hear that before, but that kind of makes sense. Everyone's trying to tie in, family, blood relation to these new characters.
Oh, one of the new characters has got to be a Skywalker of Skywalker heritage. I think Kylo Ren is, but I don't know. It's lots of cool. The trailer gave us a lot of stuff to kind of speculate on and whatnot, and it didn't really give us too much of the story per se. It didn't come out and say, it wasn't like the Ultron trailer where it just kind of showed out, okay, here's what's going to be happening in this movie. It just kind of gave you a bunch of clips and
Oscar Isaac is a Wedge Antilles.
But he does have just as silly of a name though, Poe Dameron. I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm sure it's one of those things that you hear.
You just get used to it.
Yeah, you hear Han Solo. I don't know. Han Solo still sounds pretty cool, even out of context. But it's one of those things. Star Wars characters you can never. Wedge Antilles would have sounded really weird out of context if we hear.
Wedge.
Imagine we're in 1977. We hear this guy has just been cast as Wedge Antilles in the new Star Wars film. We're gonna be sitting there going, what? So I feel it's the same way with Poe.
Yeah. I'm really excited about these new characters. I'm glad we got to see more of them.
Oh yeah.
It's cool. I just saw John Boyega in. We're going to talk about Attack on the Block.
That's our
Attack on the Block. Or Attack the Block. My bad.
Attack the Block. Yeah.
But yeah, and then seeing him again, seeing the trailer again after watching his earlier stuff, I'm like, okay, it makes me even more excited. And yeah, I'm a huge Oscar Isaac fan. The girl, I don't think I've seen her in anything
Daisy
else.
Ridley, yeah, I'm not very familiar with her previous work. She seems likable enough and competent enough. John Boyega seems like a cool dude. Oscar Isaac, I haven't seen Ex Machina. You saw Ex Machina.
Seen Ex Machina.
Did he shine in that?
Oh yeah, he was the best thing about that movie.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, and I'm not familiar with Adam Driver, but the cool thing is, or the weird thing, I guess, because I just now thought about it, was how we at the beginning of the trailer it basically sets up our our 3 new characters, Finn, Rey, and Kylo Ren, but there's no little monologue for Poe Dameron.
Yeah.
We just see him in some quick shots, kind of.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, how is he going to fit?
That was probably the disappointing thing. The one disappointing thing, I think. I think Luke not being a part of it is fine.
I can accept that. That's fine. It would have been cool.
I did want to see more of with Poe Dameron.
They basically just include him in some quick shots.
Yeah.
We see. I love the shot though where they're getting presumably him and Finn are getting ready for the final battle.
Yeah.
And he puts his hand on his. He walks past him and then the camera cuts to Finn and you can see he's kind of swept up in this whole galaxy. And
it reminds me so much of Episode 4.
Oh yeah,
it's great. It's a beautiful thing.
That's the only thing, though. It's cool that it's great that we have the Empire back. It's cool that we're going back to the roots and everything. But I don't want them to do a shot-for-shot remake of the original film, which I don't think they will. I think it's possible that they could just have a similar setup and similar climax. But I definitely think the journey of how we get there is going to be definitely different. And obviously, even if this first film in the new trilogy is a little bit like A New Hope, obviously they're not going to recreate Empire and Jedi. So
also, the thing is, retelling the same story, it's not necessarily a bad thing because you're introducing it to newer audience as well. A lot of people are going to be turned off by watching an old movie. That's obviously we aren't, but this generation, they're going to see the old movie and be like, it's
a little dated.
Yeah. So I think that's cool to introduce similar aspects, similar shots, visuals. It's going to be cool. And then people who have seen it and enjoyed it, they're going to be like, oh, wow, that's kind of like A New Hope. And it's just really cool to see that modernized.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be great.
Speaking of modernizing, we look at A New Hope, we watch that, and we see hyperspace in that, and we think, wow, that looks really cool. Then we see this new trailer,
oh my gosh,
just the quick shot of hyperspace, and I think that's one of the moments where the music is swelling with those old original cues from the original trilogy, and it really makes you feel like this is Star Wars,
Watch it in IMAX.
Yeah.
Watch it in IMAX, because it's going to be in every IMAX theater.
I'm seeing it in Dolby Atmos, so that'll be really cool. That's the hipster thing to do now. I'm not seeing it IMAX.
Not IMAX.
Dolby Atmos, it's better than IMAX.
Never
Who told
heard
me
of
that? It was a theater worker, so of course they're going to say that.
I didn't realize that was the story behind that.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, this is better than IMAX. So I was like, oh, well, obviously then I better get my tickets. It was a little bit cheaper though, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, nonetheless, I have my tickets for The Force Awakens already. You don't though. You plan on just kind of winging it?
I'm probably going to go ahead and buy some IMAX tickets.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm supposed to have early access, but I guess I'm not sure if that's going to happen.
It's Star Wars. It's a big movie.
Yeah.
You never know.
It's supposed to. I work for Cinemark, you see.
I do too.
Oh
now.
yeah, welcome to Cinemark.
In between the last show and this show, I got a new job, so that's cool.
Cool.
No longer a tree guy. I'm a movie guy through and through. Anyways, I guess like I said, we have the official Star Wars recap reaction video on our channel, so subscribe and click on that and watch that. It's really awesome. And unless you have anything else to add about the Star Wars stuff?
I'm so excited for it.
As am I. December 17th. Can't get here soon enough. I'm going to 17th at 11:15. It's awesome. I got 4 tickets. And anyways, so next up, this is a little bit old news, but we haven't talked about it yet. The official sequel to Ant-Man has been announced, and it's going to be titled Ant-Man and the Wasp. And I forgot the release date. Should have written it down. But just basically, that's the big news: is that we are getting a sequel to Ant-Man, and it's going to be called Ant-Man and the Wasp. Mm-hmm. Did you see Ant-Man?
Yeah, I loved Ant-Man.
Yeah, how do you think a sequel could play out?
Well, let's see. Obviously, the Wasp is going to be a new character. What's his name? The original Ant-Man. He's going to be
Hank Pym.
Yeah, Hank Pym. I was thinking about the actor's name, but yes,
Michael
Hank Pym.
Douglas.
Yes, Michael Douglas.
Yes.
So he's going to be worried a lot, of course. His daughter is the new Wasp,
mm-hmm.
and of course the original Wasp was lost forever.
Yeah, so there's
But
it's always the fear of that,
I think they might try to find a way to bring her back because she's not technically dead. She's lost in that
I don't
tiny cellular form.
Yeah,
and
the
then
weird dimension thing from Interstellar.
But the fifth dimension.
I don't know if you noticed, but there's this anytime you see a picture of the Wasp or you see her in her face is always obscured. So what that tells me is that they have plans to cast her eventually and bring Hank Pym's wife back, and that'll be really cool because then it'll be weird because time and space is differently whenever you're that small, I guess. In the fifth dimension from Interstellar, so maybe you can cast a younger actress and maybe have her join in on the action. Although that'd be weird for chemistry reasons with Michael Douglas. But I don't know I know in the press release they definitely said Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly are coming back. I don't know if they mentioned Michael Douglas coming back.
Right.
I really hope he does though, because like I said,
great presence.
Oh yeah, and all the time, every time I talk about Ant-Man, I'm always like, he really just adds a level of credibility and prestige to it. It kind of validates it in a sense and provided an.
And you got to have Michael Pena.
Michael Pena, he's great. He's a little offensive sometimes, but there's a little bit of controversy about that.
Michael Pena is I have this in joke with a friend. He always says Michael Pena, whatever movie he's in, he just always makes it better, no matter what he does. And it's true, I gotta say.
Ant-Man was great, and so was The Martian. So I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with that logic. Speaking of which, our spoiler review of The Martian is up on the channel now. Yeah, I'm really excited about Ant-Man and the Wasp, the idea of a sequel. I love the idea that the Wasp is getting front and center with Ant-Man, but I think the title is a little bit long. It kind of doesn't roll off the tongue well. Marvel's Ant-Man works, but Marvel's Ant-Man and the Wasp sounds a little bit like much.
It almost seems like one of those classic cheesy superhero movies, like Batman and Robin.
True.
Like Ant-Man and the Wasp. It just sounds cartoony, which I guess
it could be cool if they embrace that maybe a little bit. Try and go for the whole, kind of expand on the zany kind of vibe that they had going on. That was pretty fun. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out. Obviously, based on the first film's quality, I don't have any trepidations about whether it's going to be good or not. It's a Marvel film. It's got that consistency going, so that'll be really interesting to see how that plays out. So it's really cool that we could talk about these first couple of nice, fun topics, because now we're going into this next topic, which is a little bit more negative. Daniel Craig was recently in an interview, and they asked him about playing Bond again, and he said, well, I would rather slash my wrists. And then he said that if he did do another Bond, it would only be for the money. Basically saying he doesn't have passion for this character anymore. He's over it. He doesn't want to. He's been doing it for 10 years now, since they started shooting Casino Royale in 2005, finishing up Spectre next month. So how do you feel about Daniel Craig not being too fond of Bond?
Okay, so I'm not a huge James Bond fan, but I can imagine what a Bond fan would be feeling. That, like, if you're enjoying these movies, if you're enjoying Daniel Craig as James Bond, hearing him say that would just really, be demotivating, demoralizing. You're gonna, because now I'm gonna see Spectre and think, wow, Daniel Craig's hating this.
Yeah, he's not having a good time.
And it's kind of like, well, what's the point? What's the point? Like, it's, I get it. He's an actor. Yeah, the money's the point. He's an actor. He's playing James Bond. But we, as audience, we enjoy it when we know the actors are also enjoying it.
Oh yeah.
Because seeing them have a good time just makes it that much better.
Comparing it to Star Wars, the stars of the new the Force Awakens film, they posted their own reactions to the trailer. So they're sitting there crying, going crazy because they get to be in a Star Wars movie. Not saying Daniel Craig needs to cry so he can play James Bond a fifth time, but I mean, just think about
it's a huge deal.
Think about how many actors would kill to be in his position. There are people petitioning for people like Idris Elba, Henry Cavill to be James Bond, and those actors would kill it and would kill to be James Bond. And the fact that there's this, and then this is kind of getting a little controversial because like people are kind of on the fence about Idris Elba for weird reasons. I think he'd be a great James Bond, and I think it's really silly that there's these weird trepidations about it where, hey, we don't know, that someone said Idris Elba's too street to play Bond, which is really sounds like internalized racism. But that being said, actual James Bond, Daniel Craig, is sitting there saying, you know what, I'm not having it. Whereas people are saying, well, that guy, he could, and he would have fun doing it. We want to make sure, like you said, that we expect a level of commitment or kind of like you pointed out, but I'm
Right.
rephrasing it. But we expect the level of commitment, we expect enthusiasm, and if they don't, I get they're signed for another movie. But I mean, and also to come out in an interview and to say, like you pointed this out off camera, like it sounds like something you'd be telling your friends, at a bar drinking, like
not to the public.
Work was terrible. I had to be James Bond and punch bad guys and kiss pretty women. My life sucks. Grow up, Daniel Craig.
And also, just saying that is just really offensive in general. Like, slashing your wrist, like that's an actual thing
that people go through, and to mock that is a little bit offensive. And I just thought about this now. What if like the 12th Doctor? And I know you're not a Doctor Who fan, but I am. And it'd be like if the 12th Doctor came out and said, and they're like, "Would you like to do another season as the Doctor?" And he's like, "Oh gosh, this show is still good." I would do it for the money, but I would rather slash my wrists than be this beloved character. Yeah. I would be pissed if Peter Capaldi came out and said that, or if anyone who just, these characters, these stories are bigger than you. They're not about. This isn't the Daniel Craig show. It is James Bond, Spectre. It's going to be.
If I was in charge of that, I'd just be like, okay, well, cross him out, get someone else who actually cares.
I would say, we got you under contract, buddy. So, but you know what? I think we're looking at a pay cut soon. But they can't do that because contracts. But it's a really annoying story. So we're going to move on from that onto something a little bit more fun. The Hulk, the Incredible Hulk. This was a rumor that came up a little while ago, and then it was confirmed. I don't know if Disney came out and confirmed it or Marvel came out and confirmed it, but I heard it was now confirmed and as close to official as you can get that the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, is going to be in Thor 3, Thor Ragnarok. So I'll start off on this one. I think it sounds really interesting. It's cool because the Hulk and Iron Man, they don't really have their own franchises anymore. Their stories have kind of been told, and now they live in other people's movies, whether it be Avengers, Captain America, or Thor. So it'll be a great way to utilize Thor, I think, it'll be great to utilize Hulk in a scenario where because a constant struggle is, who does the Hulk fight? Who's powerful enough that the Hulk can take on? Some Asgardians can probably fight the Hulk for a little while, especially if he's on their playing field. And a lot of people have been saying, does this mean that Thor 3 is going to be an adaptation of Planet Hulk? And I really hope not. I really think because Thor 3, it's called Thor Ragnarok. And Ragnarok itself is a huge event that happens in the Thor comics. I heard they do it all the time, but it's supposed to be a seminal, end of all things, apocalyptic type of storyline. And I don't think it would do it justice if they tried to shoehorn Planet Hulk in there. I think that'd be something that'd be cooler, better served in like a Guardians of the Galaxy sequel.
I could see it leading up to a Planet Hulk-esque movie.
Oh, if that was like the post-credit scene, like
that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be
like
cool.
If he gets lost in some distant planet
by the end of the Thor film,
But I think by some sort of copyright issue, Marvel's not allowed to do a standalone Hulk movie.
I think you're right. They have to do the Universal. I think has right of first refusal for distribution on a Hulk film. So you're right.
But it's Disney and Marvel. I'm sure if they really wanted to, they could find a way.
Oh, they got lawyers out the wazoo. They can figure out a way to use whatever characters they want, except for the X-Men.
And then having this as like kind of a taste of what could be might persuade people to let a Planet Hulk movie happen.
You're right. It could whet the people's appetite. Hey, Hulk in space is a really cool concept. Yeah. Asgard isn't space technically, but it's kind of like it.
Because then you get these villains that you can't even imagine. They're beyond powerful. That Hulk will finally, you're going to feel like, oh, this is actually going to be a threat, and we get to see Hulk play around more with his abilities.
You're not limited to Bad Hulk, which is something I feel like they have to go to in the movies. Abomination and just etc. Like people want Red Hulk, and I would like personally, it's like if every Superman villain was evil Superman. We don't want that in every movie. We want Lex Luthor. We want
that's it.
Darkseid or something like that. We want Batman v Superman.
2016.
Hopefully, I'll be getting a poster from Cinemark there. Because I answered the trivia question. It was a trivia question. I was like, "That's from Empire Strikes Back." So hopefully,
what was the question?
Batman v. It wasn't a question. It was a Han Solo quote, and it was like, "If you wanted to see me fail, well, here's your chance," or something like that. And I was like, "That's Han Solo in Empire Strikes Back." And speaking of Empire Strikes Back, this is a really bad segue to the Joy trailer, which is our next Topic. You just saw it just recently, so I guess before I was a huge fan of the original teaser trailer, had Can't Always Get What You Want by the Rolling Stones in it. That was really fun. And I was really looking forward to this second trailer. It was a close second from my second most anticipated trailer of this week. Right after that indie film called The Force Awakens, like I said. But I'll let you start about it. What did you think of the Joy trailer? You just watched it. What'd you think?
So yeah, I thought it was more or less, very similar to the first trailer. It wasn't much different. There were some other scenes, but more or less, it's just giving you the same vibe. It's just giving you more to, process.
More of this kind of like little glimpses of what these characters will be like. Yeah.
But still, you don't have a huge, knowing, an idea of what exactly this movie's about. Like she's going through a struggle. She's trying to get from point A to point B, and become more successful. I think she's supposed to be, she's like in charge of her family, right?
Yeah,
kind
she's
of like
a matriarch of a big company.
Godfather.
And like the Godfather kind of.
Okay, so yeah, she's trying to rise in the business world, in, economically, and it looks like she's going through some struggles, which I have a lot of faith in the director,
David O. Russell. Yeah,
he's made some great films recently, and
with Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah,
and
Jennifer Lawrence,
Bradley Cooper,
and Robert the Hero. Anyways, they're all on it, and it's fun to see them all work together. So it's like no matter what, this movie's going to be a good time, even if right now you don't know exactly what to expect. Like I can see it going multiple ways. Like part of me kind of thinks she's going to have a breakdown. You can see her working with guns, and it's going to be like a shooting spree. Does she have an antagonist to work with? Is there a rival gang? See, like, I don't know. I don't know these things because I feel like they could be keeping that a secret. And I feel like that could be a part of it. Maybe it shouldn't be, but it could be. Because I don't know what exactly the climax is supposed to be. And I guess you're not really supposed to know.
It's a biographical drama, so I doubt that there's going to be
it's a biographical drama.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but you didn't actually read the description of the synopsis at all. So you got that she's a matriarch of a big, high up. You got that all from the trailer.
Right.
So that's good, because that's what I wanted from the second trailer. Even though it's all right, I wanted the second trailer to focus on the story a little bit, give us an idea of what is Jennifer Lawrence's goals in this film, what's her character like.
What are her goals?
She got that. We got that to an extent. There were a couple weird scenes in it. The part where she's like, "Don't you ever talk about." It was like that delivery was a little weird. A lot of people liked that delivery. I watched a couple other reviews, and they're like, "Hey, I really liked that aspect." And I just thought it was a little bit like kind of like sounded like she was trying to remember her lines. Don't you ever talk about, but
that's what it was.
Anyways, yeah, but I like the trailer. I like the movie. I like the first teaser trailer a lot more, but I still have very little doubt that this film is not going to be really good. I will definitely be checking it out whenever it comes out around Christmas time, because I can't see The Force Awakens for free with Cinemark, but I can see Joy for free probably, and I doubt people are going to be seeing that instead of Star Wars.
There's not going to be a trailer that tops The Revenant.
The Revenant? You think the Revenant trailer was better than the Star Wars trailer?
Yes.
Okay. That would have been something to point out at the beginning, but because that's kind of a bomb right there. The Revenant trailer was that good to you?
Second one.
The second Revenant trailer. I would argue that I liked the Star Wars trailer a little bit more, but I don't know how to argue.
We've seen Star Wars before.
Yeah, I've seen Star Wars before. So a lot of you're right. A lot of it is it could be a different trailer, but just with or it could be a different film, but same trailer, and maybe I'm a little bit less impressed. But since it's Star Wars, it's obviously fantastic. But also I wasn't a big fan of the poster. Looks good. It's Star Wars and everything, but like I said, it was a little bit busy. Where a lot of people, I feel like they are blindly going, "Oh, it's Star Wars. That poster looks awesome," but it's not perfect. All right, with that out of the way, what is the last thing on our agenda, or second to last thing on our agenda is something old. What did you see recently, Ricky?
I saw recently, as I mentioned earlier, Attack the Block with John Boyega, and I didn't expect it, but it was actually a really fun, really well done indie movie. It's
what's it about?
It is about an alien invasion.
Ooh.
Right. So it's a sci-fi movie, and in terms of themes, it's been it's been done to hell. It's been done over and over again. So it was really refreshing to see and done the proper, actually interesting, compelling way. John Boyega is in a gang. They're muggers, group of bad kids, with 4 other dudes, and they're in South London. It's all centered around this apartment block, and they go around. It starts off immediately. They rob this girl, and then an alien just shoots down from space, hits a car, and then John Boyega's character Moses. He searches the car. He's thinking, okay, well, I don't know what just happened, but I'm gonna steal whatever's in the car. So he gets attacked by this. Oh, and also I really like this because the aliens, they're not slimy or scaly. They're hairy. They look like gorillas almost, or like dogs.
That's weird.
Yeah. So he gets attacked by one of them, and you find out later that it's a female, which is actually a spoiler. So I probably shouldn't have said that, but it doesn't matter. You kind of can guess anyways because it's smaller and different than the rest. Yeah. So it attacks him. They track it down and they kill it. And this is the premise for the movie because then after that, a bunch of more of these hairy, and these ones are like pitch black, and they got blue teeth. They come down and they start, attacking the block.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
killing a bunch of people, and then
Okay.
So then John Boyega's gang, instead of being hoodlums, they're like, okay, well now we got to protect our block. So they run around defending the block and killing these aliens, which you find out later are only after John Boyega.
So basically, being that John Boyega, he's in Star Wars.
Right.
The main thing we're probably concerned about is
his acting ability.
How does he do in this?
Oh, he's great.
He's great?
He's great.
Cool.
He's got a really great presence to him. In this movie, he's the gang leader. He's brooding. He's serious. You don't know much about his character, but there's some serious backstory to it that you're like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense.
Okay.
And in this movie, the characters around him, I think, complement him because they're more energetic and ecstatic, and they make you feel the importance of John Boyega. And for that specific role, he did a really great job. He was very believable as this gang leader, which makes his acting ability that much more notable. And seeing him again on the trailer after that, it's like you're taking on a different project. It gives you the notion that he can really flesh out this character.
He's got some versatility to him, so that's cool. What would you give the film out of 10?
Oh, an 8.5.
Oh, really?
8.5, maybe even a 9. It was really well done. It was really refreshing.
Wow.
After all these really campy, crappy sci-fi movies, young adult sci-fi movies, and this is a rated R movie, but it didn't feel like it had to be rated R because it all happened so naturally.
Yeah, it was natural to the story. That's the best kind of whenever it works that way.
It was great. Like, it was rated R, but it was really lighthearted, especially the chemistry in between, the gang, his friends. It's just, they're just joking around like a bunch of normal dudes. It's a comedy, but it's also like a very serious movie, and I definitely recommend anyone to check it out. Online.
Did you watch it on Netflix or just
on I looked it up.
Alternative means?
That's right.
I see. All right, something I didn't see through alternative means. I was celebrating my new job at Cinemark last night with a free movie. So something new today. We're going to talk about Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs. You haven't seen it yet. I saw it. I haven't seen Attack the Block yet. So see what we did there. Steve Jobs stars Michael Fassbender. It is and also has Jeff Daniels and Seth Rogen in it as well, and it is directed by Danny Boyle, but it doesn't feel, I don't know what Danny Boyle's specific style is, so maybe it's a little bit unfair for me to say this, but it definitely feels more so like an Aaron Sorkin film. Aaron Sorkin is the screenwriter. He wrote The Social Network. He's really famous for, I don't know if you ever heard the phrase, the walk and talk. It's just like people walking down a hallway having these really intense, give it action, something that George Lucas didn't do in the prequels. Shots fired. But anyways, but the screenplay was probably my favorite thing about the Steve Jobs. It's so witty, it's so smart. You really, in the film, I don't know if you've heard about this, but it's
finds a way.
Yeah, it's a 3-act structure, and the first act is one of his first panels in the 80s. The second act is the late 80s, and the third act is the unveiling the iMac or the MacBook or something like that.
Yeah, it all takes place right before these conferences, right?
And it's a little bit weird in that sense because it's like, oh, well, all these important people throughout his life just happen to show up right before every presentation, but it works for the film. And there's this really great scene, I told you about this earlier, probably one of my favorite scenes in films from this past year was Jeff Daniels and Michael Fassbender having this argument about what their what about Michael Fassbender's jobs leaving Apple and Jeff Daniels' role in that and how it all played out. And it's cut between two scenes, the one of him getting fired and the one of them talking about how it happened. And they're cut together side by side and they're cutting back, and it's seamless. It's just fantastic. It's so expertly done. The acting was phenomenal. Michael Fassbender does a great job as always. It has a heart to it. It is this really great and weird, it's unconventional, this storyline with him and his daughter, because he doesn't believe it's his daughter at the beginning of the film. Maybe does that change? We'll find out. I found out. You need to watch it because you're going to love it. It's a great film.
I could just look it up.
Alternative means. You work at Cinemark, man. Go watch it. No, but it's a great film. Michael Fassbender shines. And But anyways, I think we are getting the...
what would you give it out of 10?
Oh, out of 10, I'd give it an 8.5. Almost a 9, but not quite because that's what I give The Martian. But anyways, we're being told to wrap it up. So where can people find you online, Ricky?
People can find me on Twitter at rickety_rockety and at Instagram at Rick Sosato.
And you can find... You do that every time.
I know.
What's my...
I'm confused. Okay.
On Twitter, Instagram, and Vimeo, you can just find me tweeting about the Force Awakens trailer and all sorts of other stuff like that at Samuel D. Carrico. And be sure to subscribe to this channel. We have lots of reviews, lots of other videos up right now. So
he's lucky. He got the same name for everything. I had to find different names.
I planned it that way. I was like, one day I'm going to be hosting a movie news show, and it's going to be that much easier.
Yeah.
But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. We got to go break down so that way other people can use this set. So we'll see you next time.
Yep. Farewell.
Farewell.